Yeah, now it's okay. Thank you for everyone who attend the session. It's intended to be certain tools by the users to be presented in front of you. We will start. Sorry, we will start with the session. It has like two three presenters. One of them is from Latvia, who is not here, Edgar, and he has like two videos prepared for the CEE meeting. First one is dedicated for the two quick categories.
with also the edit summary. So yeah, that that basically is all. I do believe such targeted mini tool where where you can uh, copy the category information from one wiki to another also could be quite useful to have this uh, simple interface to get the commands to input into the quick categories tool. So yeah, thank you.
And the same user also has another tool that wants to be presented. It's called Wiki Completer.
Hi, my name is Edgars. I'm from Latvian Wikipedia community, and today wanted to present two tools or two workflows. First of which will be Wiki Completer. Um, so Completer Wiki Completer is tool to list articles that exist in this source Wikipedia but don't exist on in the target Wikipedia and has the most interwiki or language links. Of course, these interwiki links they don't always show which articles are the most popular or most important, but I believe that in general that is like a pretty okay indicator of what articles you can write in your own Wikipedia. Um, so yeah, the tool is very simple. You input the source Wikipedia language that you want to find articles from, um, and then you input the target Wikipedia language information, the Wikipedia that you are interested in to write these articles, and you have to input some article filter. For example, searching articles uh, which are included in some category or category and its subcategories, or has this template attached. But for now, you can't use template redirects. You have to use the like um, the target target page, um, target template page. And for more complex queries, you can also use PetScan as like article filter. So yeah, and the tool is available on Toolforge, where most of the Wikimedia tools are located. It's under address completer toolforge.org. And yeah, I'll just give a a quick demo of the current tool. So yeah, the the interface is quite simple, and let's work on some use cases. So let's imagine that it is see springtime, and I want to write articles write articles about Greece, uh, because it's see spring week of Greece and some other country, I believe. So, and I know that in French Wikipedia, uh, they do attach they do tag articles with some portals which are like um, wiki projects in English Wikipedia, but they're quite uh, and I know that so I find some random article in French Wikipedia which should have this Greece portal tag attached, or yeah, and in categories I do find this portal Grec or Greece Grec articles this category, and I copy the title. I input French Wikipedia because that's where this category is located, and without interwiki link to Latvian Wikipedia because that's uh, that's the Wikipedia I'm interested in to write these articles. I copied the category title. I choose category, add the title. I choose depth 0 because I'm interested in only this category, not its subcategories. But this doesn't have. So yeah, I press submit. I wait. I wait for a while. Um, this category has 50,000 articles, so it might take some I don't know minute or less. Um, and then I will get a list of the top 1,000 articles which don't exist in Latvian Wikipedia. Um, yeah. So yeah, it might take some time for larger categories or templates, but yeah, it should work. I also tested on like German Wikipedia has this category for females which has like 200,000 articles, and yeah, I had to wait for a while, but yeah, eventually it worked. So yeah, but yeah, the server finished the work, and now I'm presented with like 1,000. It should be 1,000 um, articles which don't exist in Latvian Wikipedia with links to French Wikipedia. So this is the most interwikid article that doesn't exist in Latvian Wikipedia based on these this criteria. So yeah, I can copy the list to clipboard, and now I can um, yeah. So yeah, and here I get the list that I can copy to some wiki page. To copy some wiki page, and have this like a working list for me. And yeah, I can have these uh, perm permalinks like with auto load and without auto load. With auto load, just does all the job. It inputs the criteria and presses submit. Without this without the auto load button, just inputs the criteria. And here you can see that we are showing a cached list to reduce server load, but but we can always just press this text, and it will refetch the data once again. So yeah, this is this is this is one uh, way to filter the data. The second one, let's look at some category, some template. So I want to write about football players, and I know that English Wikipedia, for almost every football player, there is this um, there is this info box football biography template. I search for that. I see that it's the like the target title. It's not redirect. I copy the title. Okay. Let's get a new fresh view. So input language English Wikipedia. Um, Target is Latvian Wikipedia. We are using template title, and submit. So yeah, it also will take some time, because yeah, English Wikipedia has like 200,000 plus articles. So yeah, but yeah, it also uh, got me like in 20 seconds to complete. So yeah, and not, now I'm presented with all these articles that I can work on. And for the last filter, PetScan, um, probably probably you know this Swiss knife of data filtering made by Magnus Matske. So this works very well if we have some pretty complex filters in mind. For example, let's look at Greek films with category depth of three, so three levels of subcategories, with intersection with English language films by decade, also like category depth three. Um, so yeah, now I'm fetching the data from PetScan. But yeah, for large categories or other filters, because you can do like million different filtering. Um, so yeah, we got 100 results. We have this PetScan ID. We copy that, and we can input the PetScan. We can choose PetScan and input the ID, then submit. And yeah, it should also take a little bit of time. So yeah, now we are presented with all these articles that PetScan did filter for us. So yeah, thank you about for so yeah, thank you. This is practically all for this wiki completer tool. I have some more ideas about what functionality to include here, but if you have any ideas and if you have um, yeah, ideas or comments or anything, then pre- please reach out on wiki or in places. Thank you.
Hello.
Oh.
I have already presented myself behind this very tribuned lightning talk session as Vice President of Wikimedia Ukraine. Now I have to present myself in another way. I am a programmer, bot master, developer of tools, scripts, gadgets, and so on. I work on many things. There is a whole ecosystem of very wonderful and useful tools. Some of those wonderful and useful tools are developed by me, but today I will talk about only two of them. First is directly related to the CEE. And another is what I am currently working on. So the first is the Springbot. So have you ever organized a CE Spring contest? So raise your hands who has organized such a contest. Okay, there are some people who did. And how hard and tedious it was to calculate results. Yeah, quite tedious, especially in Ukrainian Wikipedia. In year 2020, I guess, there were more than 2,000 articles in CE Spring, and I was participating in evaluating them, gathering all the articles which were presented to this contest, calculating the number of bytes each participant added, and at some point in time I thought that I will abandon everything and go live in a cabin into the woods. So, but then I thought that maybe I could automatize it. So first, how it works, CE Spring works in Ukrainian Wikipedia. So during the contest period, usually less than 1 month, user create or add something to create a new article or add something to an existing article on the topics related to the CE region, and they put a special template to the talk page of this article to nominate it for the contest, and there they specify what language or country or language community this article is about, and this template adds the talk page to the special category, so all the content of this category is all the articles nominated for the CE Spring. Next, there is a jury which evaluates the quality of each article. Is it a near good article or is it garbage? So they put the mark from 0 to 10 or something. And then for each article, points for this article are calculated by the formula, which consists of jury mark, the size of the new article, or the number of bytes added to this article by a specific user. There are also some coefficients. Countries have their coefficients. More widely covered countries have lower coefficients, and countries which lack attention have greater coefficient, and so on. And then all those points are summed up for every participant, and a participant with the biggest number of points wins, and there is second, third place, and so on. So to make it easy, I have automatized this process. It's a little bit easier with new articles, but with existing articles you have to do a lot of filtering. So how do you calculate how many bytes exactly a user added to the article? You take all the versions that were edits that were made during the contest period, from a certain date to from start date to end date. Then you look for all edits that were made by the user, excluding edits by other users, and you sum up all the numbers of bytes that were added, excluding comments, excluding places where a long string of code is inserted instead of a template. So it would be very tedious to do by hand, but my bot does it all automatically. And it also filters out, automatically filters out articles which are not eligible for the contest. Created not in contest period, or there are cases when two users nominate the same article to the contest, or when article has serious issues or does not meet a threshold. We have rules that an article nominated to CE Spring should have at least 30,000 bytes and so on, and that is all done automatically. Then for each article, it calculates its points, how many points did this article score, calculates each other data for this article, and it outputs the result as a wiki table, which you can just copy, insert, and save. So here, for example, you see an example of an output of this bot. There are some articles. So you see the title of the article, who is its author, or who claims to have added some content to this article. Then there is a row saying, is it a new article or a user added some content to this article, date of creation, size in bytes of a new article, or some of all editions by this user, country about which this article is, and some coefficients. Well, it may not be worth to use it when you have tens of articles, then you really can do it by hand. But what when you have hundreds of articles, thousands of articles, like in Ukrainian Wikipedia, then you really need some automation, because otherwise you will do it for months. This bot is somewhat customizable. There is a file with parameters which you can change: start date, end date. On some contests we allow only articles from a list. If an article is not from a list, it is not eligible. Sometimes it's not the case. You can set it here. Also, here is a name category from which to draw the list of articles. So you can customize it. It was created specifically for CE Spring article contest, but it may also be applied to other article contests if they are built in the same way, if they have somewhat similar rules. For example, we used it in Asian months in Ukrainian Wikipedia. So this code is hard-coded to work in Ukrainian Wikipedia, but if you want to use it as well, it will not be a trouble to adapt it to your Wikipedia. If you need it, you can contact me. So this is the link to the files of this bot on GitHub. So take your time to scan it if you are interested. Okay. And if you need to adapt it to your Wikipedia, then you can contact me and we will work on that. Here are my contacts, link to my meta page. So thank you, and I will get to the second presentation, second out of the two.
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is there a parameter for the wiki language? Because these parameters should Thank you. So my question was that is there a parameter for the wiki language code? Because now your parameter showed only category name and template name, but it is on the Ukrainian Wikipedia. So if somebody would
not yet, but to make it, it will take me some 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's why it's not. Yeah, it's not a parameter yet. There is not.
Yeah. So the next one. Full screen. This one. So another bot tool that I have developed, I call it reference expander. So what it is? Have you ever seen a reference that was done in a lazy way when you just insert an URL link and does not fill out a site web template, how you're supposed to do, given the title of the article, author, creation date, archive link. Let's be honest, most of us are too lazy to do this. Am I right? So I developed the bot who can turn this lazy form into filled out form with all information it could gather. It adds a lot of information, title, publisher, date, archive link, and so on, and it works in 2 modes. So there is a scan through mode, so I launch it from time to time and it scans all of the pages of Ukrainian Wikipedia searching for such cases, and when it finds such, it expands those references, editing the page. Or it can work in a prompt mode when you give it a link and it outputs you the expanded versions which you can insert into the article which you are currently writing. Yes, I know there is an inbuilt reference adder in Visual Editor, but it doesn't work that well. It doesn't give all the information that is available, and it can fail at some links. So what it adds? An article title. Who is the publisher of this news article? It deducts it from the URL name. When was it published? The date. First and last name of the author, if it's specified on this page in the article. Archive link. So Web Archive has an API to which you can give a link, and it outputs to you as an archived link. So I use that to add archive links access date, that is, it starts today's date to know that it was last available on this date, and if language difference from Ukrainian, then it writes in which language is this article. Most of them have information what is the language of this article, something like HTML lang equals to something, but if not, it tries to make a guess. For example, if it sees a lot of words there, that means that it's probably English. If it sees a lot of words der, dem, die, then it's probably German, and so on. So this is an example how it works. It's a difference between versions and edit. So on the left there was a lazy form and an expanded form on the right with a lot of information added. And my bot does hundreds or thousands of such edits per run, which I do once in a month or several months. But I'm currently still working on it. There is work in progress. Now it only expands those references that have no information at all, but I'm working on implementing that it adds information to those references that already have some information, but there is something to add. And also I started to adapt it to work in other Wikipedia, because currently it's hard-coded to work in Ukrainian Wikipedia, but I'm working on making it available for other Wikipedias to work there as well. Yeah, it's hard-coded for Ukrainian Wikipedia now, and it's more focused on Ukrainian media outlets. Of course, some foreign are included, some international outlets are included, but they are mostly Ukrainian, but we can add more if you need. So if you're interested, you can contact me and we start working to adapt it to your Wikipedia. Thank you for attention, and again my contacts, so you can talk to me if you are interested about it. And I see a raised hand. It would not be in live stream then. Maybe you come here and talk into microphones then.
Okay.
Oh.
So I know quite a few of these bots and scripts, and the problem I see with them is that none of them are as good as Citoid. The automatic citation from the visual editor works very, very, very well now. How does your bot separate from that? What does it have extra?
Well, I would not say that this Citoid works very well. It can give false information. It can skip some information that is available. And what do you do when an editor already saved a page with a link which is not expanded into siteweb template?
You change the citation type.
How?
It's a button. It's an actual button
So,
where you change the citation type, you copy the
then
URL.
you have to
that's it.
manually open each of these pages, manually find each of those references, and manually press a button to on this panel to expand this reference. It's still a manual work.
If you do it from the visual editor, you can do it through API if you want.
but still it's manual work.
No, if you do it through API, it can be automated. That's what I'm saying. I've seen a lot of these things, and it's hard for me to understand how do they differentiate, right? And you said something about being focused on Ukrainian websites or publications. Maybe that's something to explore. You know, there are some other work in that area around an older project called Web to Sit, where this this adaptation to other websites was crowdsourced by the community, and maybe you can look into that. My second question regards language detection. How exactly do you do it? Do you do it strictly by checking for words, or do you use like a modern machine learning model that can give you the language, that can detect the language?
Well, I had an idea to use machine learning, but it's in my to-do list. It's not yet implemented, so yes, it's yet primitive. So, any other questions? Yeah.
I'm interested in your bot, but I'm not a bot person, so I don't know what to do in Macedonian.
First and the second.
The second, about the citation.
Okay.
And fix the lazy ones. But I'm not that kind of person. I don't understand this. So if you give me your, is it, you said if you want help, so is it help for the people who already knows how to run bot, or it's for everyone? Can I ask you for help?
Well, the perfect situation would be that some bot master in cooperation with me adopts it. But if you're not a programmer or an IT specialist, then I can run it for you. The only thing that I need is permission of the community to do such a bot run, because it is bureaucratic procedure to gain a permission to run a bot in some Wikipedia.
Excellent tools. My only question is for your first bot, if it counts real bytes or characters, because I know that, for example, in Greek script, for each character is 2 bytes instead of 1. Maybe also in Cyrillic it's 2 bytes. So it counts bytes or characters.
That's actually a good point. It counts bytes.
In Unicode.
But in the rules of the contest, it is written bytes, not character, but bytes. So I did this bot following rules of the contest to the letter, even if I thought that maybe some points in these rules need improvement.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? So, next presenter.
5 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
Don't really enough to talk about catalogs. So, let's start with a show of hands. How many of you have heard of catalogs so far? Okay, quite a few. How many of you have used catalog on Commons? Okay. Okay, how do I move to, no, not this one. Second, okay. Okay, how many of you have used catalog on Commons? Was the second question. About the same. And how many of you have used catalog outside of Commons? 2 hands, 3, 4. 3.5, maybe. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to use that catalog. Can be used outside of Commons, because many people don't know that. And Tony is going to come to you a little bit later, or maybe somebody else instead of Tony. to encourage you to test Catalot on your wiki. We would like to know what works, what doesn't work, and how can we make it more useful for our communities. So I'm going to go, it's all in Romanian, I'm sorry. I'm going to chess players category. Okay, come on. And here we have some chess players that are not categorized by country. And I will copy paste another category, which I just created, by the way. I am copy pasting because of diacritics. And the idea is I want to move, I'm only going to move a page, but you can do this for all the pages at once. If you open Catalot out here, how to enable it, it's a user script. I'm not going to go into that right now, but you have it here. And from here you can choose the destination category. It found it. Right, I don't know if it's very visible. This is the Serbian chess player, and I know Nikola Karaklajic, thank you, Philip, is Serbian. So I'm selecting him. I can select as many as I want. I can also select all from here, but it's barely visible, unfortunately. And then I just click move, and that's it. Obviously, for one person, not a big deal. When you have 120 articles, it's a big deal. And it just received a major improvement in speed, by the way. It's blazing fast right now. Let's double check. You need to close it before you do anything else. That your move. And instead, indeed, it's here. The page is here, so it was moved automatically. That was it. I encourage you to look at Catalot to see if it would be useful in your wiki and to test it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Amata, you're next. I will. You
will go there or
do you know? Okay, Day2.
yeah.
So let's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might have to download it. Should I download this or how would I open the? Is there no? How did you get to the presentation mode again?
Yes, let's see. It may already be downloaded here.
Oh,
This
you have to
this
download.
one.
Oh, right. No, it's a different version. Okay, so
Go
I'll
to
move it to the
downloads
yeah.
then.
Okay. So I'll
Did
download
you
this to.
download it?
No. So I should download it to that. Yeah. Okay. Zeus Saturday, right? Right. Okay.
No.
No. Oh, I have to download.
You
Yeah.
have to
Open it
the-
from there. Yeah. Right.
Is it not this one? It was
It's an
already
updated
downloaded.
version.
Oh, okay.
So it's probably yeah. That last. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And then it's on that side, right?
yeah.
Full
Full
screen,
screen.
mute. Yeah.
Okay, we still have like -1 minute. Okay, so here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I have a big question usually at the beginning, but welcome to the Slovak Comprehensive Music Database presentation. Just to let you know, this is a bit of a follow-up. We did one already last year in Istanbul 2024. So let me get to the big question I need an answer from. Who likes music? Is there anybody here? Yeah, a little bit. Your hand should be up now. Okay, so there are people. Sorry?
Yes, who can play music?
Oh, that's a different thing. Let's not get into that. But who likes music? Well, there's a bigger question now. Where do you get your music? YouTube, Spotify. Okay. Now the next question, even bigger question. Where do you get your music data?
From Wikidata, of course.
Well, wouldn't that be the good answer, right? Well,
And from Wikipedia.
and from Wikipedia. Did you read my slides? No. But that would be the ideal question. Oh, I'm sorry, the answer to that question, right? But there is a bit of a but, right? And can that data on Wikipedia and Wikidata be more up-to-date and be more reliable? You're saying yes. You also read my slides. Good. Yes. And this is where the Slovak Comprehensive Music Database comes in. I mean, not to fix everything, but it is one of the many initiatives that are there to improve data. So let's take a look how this is going to do. So the project, right? The idea is, again, to have more up-to-date and higher quality data, right? In Wikipedia, but mostly in Wikidata, right? It is a public and private partnership, right? So far, for now, it's within Slovakia, but of course there is room for extension, and we'll see how that will work. Yeah? Okay. It is also part of a wider European context, right? So it's a European project or part of a bigger European Union project. What do we want from the outcomes, right? So the outcomes, what do we want from this project? We talked about better data, music data, right? But what does that really mean, right? Yes, data is nice to look at, right? Sure. But then that data transfers to a better musical experience for you. Well, how's that? Well, all those sites that you mentioned, or those platforms, right? Like Spotify, like YouTube, right? These get their data from Wikidata, right? I mean, probably not the only source, but one of the many, right? So how do you get a better experience? Well, you search for things, right? You want to listen to a particular artist, maybe a particular country of origin, right? So all of these kind of searches are made possible with the data from Wikidata, right? And if the data in Wikidata is not labeled, right, or not labeled right, well, you're not going to get a good search result, right? The other thing, and this is for the artists or the musicians or the composers, the producers, well, better royalties, right? Or higher royalties. Because the more people listen to the music, the better, of course, right? And also, sometimes there were cases of misattribution, right? The royalties did not go to the person they were supposed to be going to. Why? Because the data was not complete, or it was inaccurate, or it was missing.
Because it was not attributed to that artist.
Yeah, so various fixes that we can fix. So let's talk a bit about the partners in this adventure. One of them is the Hudobný Centrum Slovakia, or Music Center Slovakia. This is we'll actually talk about, let's talk about them here. It's a better little bit of a profile, right? Hudobné Centrum, or Music Center Slovakia. It's a governmental organization. It's under the Ministry of Culture in Slovakia. It's been around since 1969 in various forms. In 1999, established under its current form. The mandate of the organization is to promote Slovak music, right? In different ways. There are organizers of events, concerts. There are also archivists. They study music. But one of the things that are interesting for us, there's a bit of an encyclopedia they have of Slovak music. Right? This encyclopedia is mostly concerned with kind of the classical, a little bit of pop maybe, jazz a bit. Yes, so it's not exactly overarching, but it's an invaluable source of data. Our other partner is the Slovak Performing and Mechanical Rights Society, or the Slovak name is Slovenský zväz autorský. Name? That's, sorry?
Not Slovenian union, Slovakian.
Slovakia, yes. Slovensko is Slovakia, no, yes. Okay, so they have a long history as well. Since 1922, they've operated 1992 in the current form. Mm. So their whole thing is that they have a huge membership, 3,500 of composers, lyricists, music publishers around Slovakia. Okay. So they have a database of the members, right, that are making music. Right? So it's information they have about members from members. Right? So it's the information they collect, right, from the actual people. Right? So it's another nice source, right? And then the other partner is a Dutch startup. This is the private part, based in the Netherlands, working since 2020. They are part of this adventure, I call it, right, of the project, is to build a Wikibase database. Okay, how that's going to work, let's see in a moment. And then there's me, the first ever position of Wikimedia in residence. My role in here is to connect with the Wikiverse. So let's tie it all together and let's look at the database. Okay, so the idea is to build a Wikibase database or instance, right? To have kind of two side-by-side databases, right? The other one is, as you probably know, Wikidata, right? Now, the one important thing here, we have this private first. Right? So Wikidata, as we know, is an open thing, public, anybody can see it, right? This one will not be like that, not yet anyway, right? Because first, there has to be a bit of preparation that has to happen, right? And then we'll talk more about some legal stuff, but legal and data cleanup is something that should happen before we open this data to the world, to the public, right? That's one of the things we're going to be working on, or we are working on, okay? So when that is done, the Slovak Comprehensive Music Database and Wikidata are going to function as two independent, but very closely connected databases, right? You can see that little symbol. There will be information going back and forth, right? So the idea is that when there's a new musician that comes and becomes a member of the Right Society, right, they will insert all their details. Then some of that details will then be moved to the database, and then again to Wikidata. Right? But also the other way around is a possibility. Right? If there is information that comes from Wikidata that is different from the one in the database, right? And I'd be like, oh, okay, what is that, right? There might be a bit of a red flag going up and be like, oh, okay, this is different, right? And then it could give us the red flag, and I'm like, okay, we need to do something about it, let's compare, contrast, do something, right? So it could also work like that, right? And then the other part of the project is also to increase the Wikipedia visibility of artists. So this is kind of where the Wikipedia in residence or Wikimedia in residence comes in. So let's take a look at this. So what are the tasks? Well, here we are. One of the tasks is the connections to the Wikiverse, so that's you. Right, so these kind of presentations, consultations. The other thing is, and this is what we did with the Hudobni Centrum or Music Center, Wikipedia explanation and training. Right? So the idea is that the Hudobni Centrum people will know more about how Wikipedia works. They might even be active Wikipedians. So I went in, did some explanation of how Wikipedia works, did some editing training with those folks. Okay? The other thing I was working on is preparing the database. And here's where one of the kind of challenging but also kind of fun parts of the project came in. And this is where I was asked, or tasked, to create a like a little database spreadsheet of unreal but realistically sounding names of bands, of venues, performers, right? And also create a little bit of fake information to train the database, to work with the database. The other things I was working on is translation, checking of translations. One of the things we were concerned about is the names of different professions, but I'll talk about that. Yeah, the other thing was to create, the 50 Wikipedia articles on Slovak Wiki. That was a bit of a, nice task as well. Then there's the feedback on issues, questions that I've been presenting my Wikipedia and Wikimedian point of view. Let's take a look at some of the issues that we've talked about, not necessarily resolved yet, but talked about. One of the things we of course know from Wikipedia is the notability, right? It's always an issue, right? Is this musician notable or not, and so on, right? And one of the things we talked about is how this Music Center encyclopedia that we have available establishes the notability of the people in it. So my view is that it does establish, because it is an external organization, right? Not just the promoter of the musician, right, or the manager, right? It's an established organization, external, right? Another idea could be that, okay, well, these musicians are not individually notable, but together as a group they could be, right? But then also comes the question of the curation of that group, right? How do we decide who is in and who is out, right? Who is part of this, jazz musicians of a certain type, or, So this is something that the Human Center would probably be best for, right? One other thing was the GDPR, and the question, what can we actually show, or what can we make public, right? And that will be something that Daniel will refer to, so I will not talk much about that. The other thing is work with pictures, right? Ideally, when you have Wikipedia, even Wikidata, right, you want to have pictures of artists that you are describing, talking about in your articles on your Wikidata items, right? So that's also something we're trying to work with, trying to get the artists maybe to give us their pictures to promote themselves. That would be nice, right? One other thing that we also dealt with, that we discussed, was how to make the description of people, especially people, easily read by human and machine readers, right? So something that would be quite, up to the point, not too wordy, right? But also would encompass all the most interesting things about that person. And then gender became a bit of an issue as well. In kind of two ways, right? One of the ways was that when you look at professional or names of professions, right, these are often different for the different genders, right? Well, at least like when we look at two genders, right? Because Slovakia so far only has two genders officially, right? When we look at the two, different names. What makes it even more complicated is the declinations or the inflections, right? Based on the different cases, right? When you're talking about somebody, to somebody, and all this kind of thing, right? It changes, right? So there should be some kind of way to work with this. The other issue or question is how in Slovakia there's this idea that some people have that women need to have this ova at the end of the name. Right? You may have seen that already, right? So the question was, do we keep it, or do we keep the name as it was or as it is for the artist, or do we kind of artificially add that ova to the name? So yes, that's it from me for now. Anyway, do you have any questions that you want to talk about? There is one in the far corner there. Mic is running. Thank you for that. Happy to receive it, right?
Hi, I have a question. Did you have any attempts at music fingerprinting, like fingerprinting music, recognizing just by the sound what it is, things like this?
You mean like the actual sound
fingerprinting?
files?
Yeah, the sound. Yeah. Thank you.
This is not in the scope of the project, so we didn't do that kind of thing, you know. Okay, anything else you want to talk about? Okay. If not, then let's go to this page where you can scan the QR and it leads to the Meta page, or the landing page on Meta, let's call it. Okay, you can get in touch with me through my username there, or just talk to me. And now it's Daniel's turn. Oops.
Thank you very much. So I would like to put this into a larger perspective. We've been working on this project basically in the last 5 years to make this happen. So it is not a short time frame. On the template of the presentation of this conference was what held us back. I can name 3 things: GDPR, and GDPR. Even if you put down into a database the name of Taylor Swift, you're already entering GDPR territory. With balancing tests, if you have a good enough reason to write her data into the database. Why we are doing it? So Wikidata and Wikipedia is only part of this. What I want to talk about is that, well, we often talk about data to be interoperable, but what the users really want is services to work together. So in the middle of this presentation, you see on the Hudobné Centrum, Slovak Music Center database, the biography and the works of the composer Iris Szegi, a Slovak Hungarian composer currently living in Switzerland. Her work, her shows are in different countries. And we want to make sure that you can find her work on Spotify or Apple Classic or YouTube. The Slovak radios can figure out if she counts into the local Slovak quota, because they have to play 20% Slovak music. We also want to make sure that the user can find the scores of her compositions in the various city libraries of Slovakia. They know where they can land a score if they like it. And we think that Wikibase and Wikidata can play an important role on this. And we also think that if Iris Szegi's data and information about her becomes available in other languages than Slovak, that will also help the mission of the Slovak Music Center, which is set up mainly to inform the rest of the world about Slovak music. So you can already try out a demo of our service. It has only very limited data in it. As I told you, the biggest obstacle of our project was coming to terms with connecting private and public sources, and very particularly data about living persons. And this agreement was signed with more than a year's of delay because of its complexity just 2 days ago. So you don't have the comprehensive database yet, only something where you can try it out. What you see here is a so-called SAMPO, semantic browser, which is just makes more searchable a Wikibase. A Wikibase is basically a private Wikidata that will be eventually connected and synchronized with Wikidata itself. Our task was also to make this replicable in other countries. We're doing 2 replications, one in the Baltic countries and one in Hungary. I will talk more tomorrow. We will have a session about what we're doing with these Finno-Ugric minorities, music and other films and the traditional clothing, so we went there more over film. And also our concept how to solve the problem that, well, the lingua franca of these small nations, so in that case we're talking about, I don't know, Udmurt folktronica, Mari electro, punk, Seto death metal, so contemporary culture of small ethnic groups. Their lingua franca is English, so they don't necessarily want to be present in an Estonian or a Hungarian Wikipedia. They want to connect with each other in English. But the notability criteria of the English language Wikipedia is very high, and therefore with Wikimedia Estonia, we started to develop these collectively notable pages that are multilingual, including English. So you can hear about that more tomorrow. And I wanted to come towards the end about motivation, so how you can do something similar. So in this case, what will happen is that everything that you can know about every music made in Slovakia will eventually be, hopefully, on Wikidata, and some of it in Wikipedia. Now, this data exists. Many European countries, Eastern European ones as well, have these state-funded music information centers that have such information and encyclopedias. Rights management agencies collect all this information. Every new musical work is registered, and after the death of the last surviving author or co-author, for 70 years royalties are paid. So the information is there. Why would they give it to you? When we started this project 5 years ago, we made a feasibility study where we showed that the reason why Spotify is not recommending Slovak music within Slovakia for Slovak people, even though it is supposedly trained on a Slovak user base, is that it knows very little about Slovak music. And we also know, if somebody was present yesterday in the presentation about AI and generative AI and Wikidata, that AI providers, such as the Spotify recommender engine, but also Meta's Llama or ChatGPT, they do rely on Wikidata to refine the results. So our strong argument is that if you want to gain visibility, then Wikidata has to see your data. Wikidata is something that connects a lot of private services that are very popular among the users. It serves Spotify, for sure. Spotify even allows connecting English Wikipedia pages to your profile. LLM providers also use it. So basically, the message is that if you want to be relevant in the age of ChatGPT, if you want to be relevant on Spotify, the best way you can support your institution, that you get to Wikidata first. And so we have a lot of work ahead of this before we finish this project. These European Union Horizon projects are prone to be very difficult to coordinate. There are delays of tasks and partners that delay others. In our case, resolving these GDPR issues took more than 14 months longer than we thought. So actually, we haven't really started to migrate all this treasure trove to the Wiki universe. We will first try to make a small batch of robot requests to Wikidata to try out if our data model in a Wikibase matches Wikidata well, and everything is well understood. And then we would like to transfer all this information, at least with English and Slovak labeling and descriptions on a large scale. It is still a work ahead of us. There's also some lessons that can be learned for those who are more technically minded. Some of the work that we're doing is a little bit related to the abstract Wikipedia project, because if you need to describe hundreds of thousands of musical works, probably you would like to use functions. So for example, almost every classical composer has a mass in C major or a sonata in B flat. You would like to describe descriptions, not necessarily by hand, that this is a sonata in B flat by Jan Lavoslav Vela. So we also experimented with these things, and I think we will be able to pass on this knowledge. So we try to make our lessons reusable. We are following as much as possible the data sharing space support centers, blueprints in terms of legal and organizational matter, and we will publish a document how you can do this with Wikibase and GDPR, Wikibase and Wikidata. Then the second one is GDPR. We have one solution that we devised in Slovakia. I think it is more or less adoptable in other European countries, but GDPR is not the only law that applies for data protection, so there's a bit of care needed. And of course, connecting such a complex project to the Wiki ecosystem is always difficult. There can be misunderstandings, but I think that with each new project, this can be made easier. So, thank you for this edition, for listening to this edition. And if you have any questions, I'm open.
It's a break now. For 30 minutes.